Jameer Gibbs. Breakout season loading.
Inside the 5, Gibbs to the end zone. Touchdown.
Woodward Sports, the most dominant Detroit sports coverage around.
What's going on? It's your host, Braylon Edwards, and this is Woodward Sports 2.0, and this is the Braylon Edwards Show on a beautiful Monday as I try to get, there we go, try to get centered. My apologies, Justin, trying to figure things out. Just got finished golfing right around the corner at a beautiful golf outing, Red Run in Royal Oak, Michigan for the Catch Golf outing, which is the Detroit Tigers outing. Shout out to Jim Hughes for having me every year. I do appreciate it. Shot 6 under. With my crew. It's a good group of guys. We were 6 under. I want to say the winner was 13 or 14. So, no win, but it was fun. Anson, what's going on, brother?
Yeah, just a very chill Monday.
It is,
not a
right?
whole lot to talk about, but we're going to figure it out and find them for you.
We are going to try to find some things to talk about. I think everybody's kind of in that holding pattern, if you will, where training camp is right around the corner. And everybody's chomping at the bit to get ready for training camp. The Detroit Lions want to say start training camp July 27th. I could have just made that data, but I think it's about correct. Everybody's excited to talk about the Detroit Lions, Dan Campbell, and what's going on with that. But last week, Sweet Potato Cam was nowhere to be found towards the end of the week, but he's back.
Hey,
my God.
we back, y'all.
Sweet Potato, man, how you feeling?
You know, I'm feeling really good, refreshed. I just want to give a shout out to my brother from another mother down there in the Tampa area for getting married.
Hey.
Love you.
Congratulations.
Congrats. Thanks, D.
Congrats on that, man. 100% marriage is a special union, so I wish you and your wife continued blessings and success. Jay Satawa, how was your weekend, man? I know you're very heavy on Spain, who did winning World Cup to the score of 1-0 in extra time. Not too long after the extra start, though, they got after. But how was your weekend?
Weekend was great. Went up north, hung out with my dad a ton.
Hey,
We just,
go.
cracked back some drinks. I made some steak for us and just enjoyed the water. So a great weekend for me, and just excited for another
Want
week.
some money on that very easy bet,
Yes,
I hope?
I did. And I got a bunch of, because DoorDash had a promo that you could pick the champion and you get like a DoorDash gift card, a split of like $1 million. So I'm waiting to see what my split of that is from Spain.
Solid.
Hopefully DoorDash will give me
35
some.
cents.
Yeah, exactly.
35 cents.
How was
If
your
it's
weekend?
if it's over 100, I'll buy the show some lunch one of the
All
Braylon,
right.
how was your weekend?
It was a cool weekend, man. Look, last week was, I think, we covered a lot of serious topics here in the job. I think I had some serious things going on with the family. So for me, it was one of those, I didn't have any graduation parties. I didn't have any birthday parties. I didn't have any golf outings. I didn't have any events. So for me, I just kind of kicked my feet up. I watched the Open all weekend. I watched the third place finish on Saturday, which was England and who the hell? France. That's why England and France, which was not a match at all until one Mbappe decided to wake up right around the 60th minute of the match. But I watched that, man. Watched some Opens, kicked my feet up, and just kind of chill. One thing I did notice, can I talk about this a little bit, is Thomas Fleetwood is one of the best. He's a top 10 golfer in the world right now. I want to say he's 9 or 8. I want to say he finished 6th or 7th at the outing this past week. Not a lot of wins, but he's always floating around the top 6, top 7. The energy in golfers and athletes today is very different than the energy when I was playing. You look at Kobe, you look at Tiger, you look at Aaron Rodgers, if you will, Tom Brady, let me use him. You look at hockey, whoever the guy was, Sidney or Ovechkin. Like, it's competition. It's wanting to be the best. It's aspiring to want to be number one, to win, to conversate. That's what it's about. I was watching the interview after his round, his third round on Saturday. He's at home. He's in England. That's what the outing was. He was there. He's back in front of his crowd, wants to win. The conversation was just, it was like this LeBron energy. Like whenever I use LeBron, it's the energy that came past the LeBron era. As I say, what's up to the chat. His conversation when they asked him about winning the outing was just very like, hey, you know what? I just didn't necessarily put together the best round today, but there's no pressure on me. I'm just going out here. I'm gonna have fun. We're gonna do the best that we can do. We'll have fun in the outing. We'll see what happens. Maybe I can put together a nice round on day 4 and see if I can challenge. But I'm just happy. There's no pressure. I've already won. I got my family here. What is that about? What is this? What is this energy? Hold on, I'm not done. What is this energy, this new day? Like, if I'm at home and you're interviewing me, I don't want it to be Tiger because he's the benchmark, but we know what he will be. Ask Tiger, what is he looking like in an outing that's held down the street from where he grew up? I think it would sound a little something along the lines of, hey, I think tomorrow, if I want to win, I think I got to go out there. I think I got to make some putts. I haven't been making putts. I need to make putts. If I want to challenge, I need to stay in play, stay in rotation. Like, everything would be about winning. Like, everything with the new people, just, I'm happy to be here. It doesn't really matter. I'm glad my family's here. It's a blessing. It's not like I need to challenge. It's not like this is what I want to do. They asked Aiden Hutchinson a question 4 years ago about the Michigan-Ohio State game. You know what his response was? They asked him about it. He was like, well, I just hope both teams go out there and play hard and fight well and, whatever happens on the other side. Like, what?
J.J. McCarthy.
When did the era change?
Two words.
They legitimately don't care about winning. They don't care about the competition. They don't care about, the hell with this guy, the hell with this. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to do what I need to do to try to win, not to try to just contend. Like, is it just me making more of a situation? Because I like Thomas Fleetwood. I think he's a very nice person. I think he's a tremendous golfer with the irons. But damn, Tommy, give me something. And then he got close on day 4, but he missed enough putts where he kept himself out of it. What is the energy, man? Am I putting too much on LeBron? Is that the post-LeBron era answer?
It's 2 words. Participation trophy.
Like, jeez.
Listen, this is the result of the era of the participation trophy.
Yeah.
Tiger Woods doesn't own a participation trophy. He never got one, right? Because you had to fight and scrap and claw to get any hardware that you got. This whole generation, I'm sorry, but are largely soft in the sense that
I agree,
they're just happy to be there. And at the end of the day, that is the striking difference between the GOAT of the new generation and the real GOAT of all generations. Jordan would absolutely rip your heart out and show it to your parents to win. And LeBron would rather have Wade do that, or Steph Curry, or Joel Embiid, or wherever he ends up next. But no, this is a generational change. It's something that you and I and our fathers and our grandfathers before us, unfortunately, man, like if you were going to be number one, it was a battle to be there. But these kids nowadays, last 20 years, doesn't matter. As long as you show up, you're going home with hardware. And this is the result.
Yeah, I think we live in an era now it's about stats. I think the more the
and
stats.
social media. He doesn't care about being first because he's going to make just enough money or even more money as a social influencer than had he won that number one. You don't need endorsements when you can get endorsements on all of your social media.
That's a very valid point, man. What say you, Justin, who kind of resembles Thomas Fleetwood a little bit? Like, if he was to wear the backwards snap, I think the backwards snap, you and Thomas Fleetwood got a little bit alike.
I mean, I agree. I mean, I didn't necessarily grow up in the generation of the participation trophy. I was a little past that. But even so, like, I've always, like, that's what I want in a winner, and that's what I want. And so I don't understand. Like, I really
You're an
don't.
old soul, bro.
Yeah, he is.
That's surprising to hear. However, like, a home tournament, like, oh, I'm just happy to be here. Like, that's crazy. I'd be wanting to win it in front of the home crowd, give the home patrons something to cheer about, get them going. I'm new school golf in that regard where, I like the noise. I like, getting a little rowdy at the course.
Yeah.
But, we need some passion. We need more passion, Tommy.
Yeah, we definitely need more passion, Tommy, man. And, Scotty Scheffler, who did not win, had an opportunity to win. He's got to be quiet on these greens. Like, he's starting to get on my nerves a little bit as we welcome in Sweet Potato Cam. Like, legitimately, every time he hits a bad shot now, like, they have the cameras, they have the recordings. You can hear, like, he's literally like, how did it do that? Why did it do that? Like, that makes no sense. Scotty, it does make sense. You missed the shot. Sweet Potato, how you doing, though, man?
Man, I cannot really complain. It feels good to be back home. Yeah, I feel blessed.
Good.
Grateful.
Did anybody see anything great, bad? I know we do Peaks and Cheeks on Monday, man. Peaks and Cheeks, what say you? What did you see over the weekend that impressed you? What did you see over the weekend that you were like, that's a bit of a turnoff for me, man? Anson, what did you see this weekend that was worthy of a peak, if you will?
The elite cabal
Okay.
was
Right,
absolutely. You got me over there.
Do we need a conspiracy answer?
Let's
we do.
drop it.
Yes,
Listen, the elite cabal built this final over the last 20 years. In fact, they have a photo of Lamine Yamal and Lionel Messi together, crowning a child, a baby, in a bath. And then 20 years later, you get the ultimate showdown, all the symbology, the handing off, the control that we're all signing up for and being washed over us in this amazing World Cup, and yet we cheer on the champions, yet we don't realize the end of a true era is coming to a close and a new chapter of being was unveiled for the world. Shout out to the elite cabal. My peak of the week, Bray.
Oh, the FIFA?
Oh, no, it's bigger than FIFA.
It's FIFA's.
No. It's the well, who are they, Anson? I don't know who they are. But they are my peak today.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. Here's another way to phrase that question.
See, look at this. Look at this.
The only thing about this, though, we talked about it on Friday, talking about the picture of Lionel Messi and Lamine Yamal 19 years ago, et cetera. It is very, very coincidental that they met in the finals, et cetera, et cetera. But when you're that great, you take pictures like this with a ton of individuals. Because, like, LeBron has a bunch of pictures like this,
This one's
too.
been on hold, bro. They've been waiting on hold with this one.
Like, LeBron's got a couple guys that he's played against that were at his camp. And
Sure.
I think Jason Tatum is one of them who ended up beating him out. But to your point, that is interesting. Now that FIFA's in the books, let's extend this one just a second. Now that the World Cup being hosted by the United States of America the first time since '94, now that it's in the book, was this a success? Was it a success? And obviously, a success. A lot goes into that. How did Team USA do? How did the country do? How did it fare? How did it make the foreigners feel? How was the game itself? How were the matches itself? How were the moments? And obviously, the last moment is Argentina versus Spain at MetLife in New York, technically New Jersey. Was FIFA an overall success in your mind, Anson?
Absolutely. You take this event and you put it in the biggest media market in the world, which is the United States. And, hey, when you talk about Team USA outside of their final game, they looked great. The PR for the nation was amazing. People came over here. They loved it. Again, I think it's because it's in our face in our own country, but it seems like this World Cup was bigger than any other one that I've ever been around for.
Yeah, I feel like it's growing. It's getting bigger and bigger in leaps and bounds. If you want to look at the leaps and bounds, if you look at the viewership, it was up 99%.
What?
It was up 99%.
What?
Yeah, the viewership was up 99% across
Wow.
the world. So the viewership was up. The dollar signs was up. I think a lot of the fans were worried that America was going to make it more about the entertainment than the purest of football, if you will, with the U. And I think there was a little bit of that. But overall, I think it was a tremendous outing, man. I think USA represented it so well outside of commentary. Like, they got to find somebody. Moving forward, Justin, they got to get somebody better on the desk than Alexi Lalas. Like, he gets on my nerves. That's neither here nor there. What'd you think?
They did smack out of the park with Thierry Henry, though, and Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
And that's why I mentioned those two. I said they got to get somebody for Alexi because those two.
Well, they're going to have to replace. They have to replace Zlatan as well. He retired off the desk after the World Cup final. He said that will be the only time that he will be a pundit in his career. So one time for the great Zlatan. However, I just leave it to the Brits, man. Just leave it to the Brits and the Spanish and the Latin Americans. Like, leave it to them. They smash football commentary better than we could ever. And so let's just take the L on this one.
Yeah,
we don't need any U.S. representation. No one even knows who Alexis Lalas is. Sorry, not sorry. Like, seriously, did you know who that was?
Yeah, obviously, Anson knows, I know,
our generation.
But the fact that we got to go back our generation, you're right. Nobody knows today. I agree with you. It's something about when you're not elite at that sport, like when you have commentary in that sport and you're not elite, like it doesn't necessarily come off the right way. And I think that's what happens with Alexi Lalas. A lot of things he says are a little bit outdated. So they got to find somebody else better in that space. Just move forward. Yeah. But anyway, let's do this. Take a quick commercial break, and we'll come back, and we will talk about the obviously. Warde Manuel stepped down today in the calendar year. At the end of this year, Warde Manuel will step down. He will no longer be the athletic director at University of Michigan. We'll talk about that when we get back. But first, let's get a message in from All Day IPA, I believe.
Yeah, guys, it's summertime. You're going to head up to the store. You're going to be in front of the cooler, and you're going to make a choice. I'm going to push you in the right direction here. 15 years, All Day IPA from Founders Brewing has been the king of the IPA category, and it's because it's not bitter. It's citrusy, it's refreshing, it's balanced, and it's 4.7% ABV. So it will pace you throughout the day and the weekend, guys. So when you head over to the store this summer, make sure it's an all-day IPA from Founders, and make sure when you drink it responsibly.
The Super Bowl parade in Detroit will be one for the record books. Detroit just does it different. Woodward Sports, your official Super Bowl or Bust Lions network.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasta salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. Original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original, world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them. And that's not very nice.
Planet Fitness now has even more best-in-class strength equipment. Join today for $1 down and save.
We're stepping it up.
We're not slowing down.
Finding new faith, new focus.
Love that new equipment smell.
So, you in?
Join the club today. Save when you join for just $1 down, $15 a month. Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet.
It's bear hunting season, and Dan Campbell is hungry for some kneecaps.
If you can just get a hold of them and you start dragging their ass out to the deep, dark abyss, you can drown them.
The Kings of the North are back for another year of the brand new Lions. Make sure you're locked in to Detroit's #1 sports network for all the news and info on your Detroit Lions.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential. Over 54 gyms now in the great state of Michigan. This is a gym for you. And we'll talk, when you come here, there's no judgment. You march to the beat of your own drum. There's trainers on staff, and the equipment is super clean. So this is the place where you should come. Continue your journey, start your journey, or excel your journey. Planet Fitness wants to be that for you. We're all strong on this planet, and that planet, one more time, is Planet Fitness. And we are back. I actually didn't work out today, which kind of feels actually absolutely crazy. But anyway, I digress. Anson, what's going on in the chat over there?
You're on the golf course, though.
It's just true, but
it's balanced.
That's why I like to walk, though. That's why I like to walk.
Still moving that body, B.
And they gave me a caddy. So when you get a caddy, the caddy walks, and he's doing all the shots. So I didn't walk as much as I typically would if I ride shotgun. I ride shotgun. So, but I digress. How's the chat doing? What's the chat up to?
They gave him a caddy. We want to give you this 100-year anniversary Red Wings puck, which on Thursday will be signed by one Darren McCarty. It's been a while. It's been a while, guys. Get your super chats in all week long. I'm going to put them in the database, put them on the wheel. Friday, somebody's going to be getting this thing. So smash the like button, guys, right now. Everybody, just take a second. Smash it.
Smash it.
Then copy it and put it into your fantasy football group chat. Share it.
Share it.
And then, super chat, because we need to hear some topics from you guys. It's slow. It's midsummer. We want to know what you want to talk about.
Yeah, what do people want to talk about at this point, man? Like, well, what's the interesting point going on? I feel like we've hammered out all the things. Everybody at this point, you're waiting for training camp.
Put a poll out. What is the #1 topic for Detroit sports fans right now? Is it football, basketball, hockey, or baseball?
It would have to be
baseball?
That's what I was thinking.
Basketball?
I wouldn't say basketball. I feel like basketball ran its course a little bit. I'd say it'd be I said baseball and football tied.
Okay.
Yep.
Because football, we know we're inching. It's right around the corner. And baseball is kind of interesting, especially after the weekend that the Tigers had this past weekend. What the Tigers go 1-2?
2-1.
Yep. 2-1.
Won the series against the Angels.
They did, and you know who looked good is Tarik Skubal, and obviously that is
Skubal's back.
Is the talk. Skubal's back, but what does that mean? Is that Skubal's back to
Cy Young form.
Okay. Oh, so to stay then.
I don't know if it's to stay, but post injury, he looks like he did last season.
Okay, will he be your peak for this past weekend then?
He would not be my peak, Braylon. In fact, my peak is gonna go to. Give me one sec. Bam! To a runner who broke the mile world record.
The 6'4" white dude.
Precisely, Braylon Edwards.
Let's
that record
go.
stood since 1999. That British runner, by the way,
342.
Josh Kerr.
342.
Yes. 342.
Like if you understand what he did this past weekend, Josh Kerr broke the world record in the mile, which was 345 and change. 345 low, 345.0, 345.1. He went 342. I don't know if you know how I come up here and I talk about track. 3 seconds on a mile or less. 3 seconds is a lot of time. He broke it comfortably too. Like also pay attention when milers and 400 runners and when they finish. Like, he broke that record, started celebrating. He had more in the tank. 342 is amazing considering we were trying to get guys to break 4 minutes in the mile not too long ago. Shout out to him. That's a hell of a one by him.
Shout out.
Look good too. It's something about the height.
It did look good. Yeah, very natural runner. Like you said, he made it look easy. Didn't even break a sweat.
That's a sub-minute 400 4 times in a row.
Yeah.
I ran a 452.
That's silly.
I ran a 452 my last year running at County. Then I was flying, hurting afterwards. That's a whole minute plus faster.
Something about it's the tall guys, man. It's like when Dustin Johnson was doing his thing on the golf course, man. Like the taller guys, a little more leverage, swing. The pendulum takes longer to come down. The strides of a runner when you're running that space.
Less work, man.
It is if you know how to
like
do it.
Randy Moss.
2 strides to my 4. It's
the
garbage.
fastest 100 and 200, they also belong to an individual that was 6'5". That'd be Usain Bolt. That height is a real thing. What'd you see over the weekend, Justin? Like, give us something. I know you watch the sports. I know you're hanging out with Pops. Maybe you saw something up north that is worthy of your peak, but what is your peak for the week?
My peak is Hao-Yu Lee. He has been absolutely crushing the baseball over the last little while since June 1st. He has over an 800 OPS and deserves some love as a very underrated piece of this Tigers roster. My cheek is Messi. Messi was flopping like a fish all over the field. And look, I root for greatness. I was rooting for Messi for a lot of points in this World Cup, but yesterday, like, it hits a point. And it hits a point where, like, I just can't do it. And Yamal hit that point against France. He was flopping like a POS. And I don't support or condone that notion of any player doing it in any sport. So it works, though. And I just, Spain was easily the best team in that game, and if they would have lost, it would have been a travesty, honestly, because the fact that they held Argentina to 0 shots through over 110 minutes of that game is ridiculous.
Yeah, shout out. And you can easily make Argentina that whole squad. Like, I understand, I agree 100% about Messi. Messi was looking for the call, and you can tell that, him and the squad not necessarily being the ones that are getting tired, put him in that situation. Now he's trying to do more and more as it relates to get a call, do something crazy, do something extra. His team just didn't have it, man. Like the Argentinian team, they just did not have it. They just not look the same. The ball stayed pretty much on one side of the field for the majority of the match, talking about Argentina's side, because Spain was kicking their ass, man. They were just faster. They were stronger. They played more fluid. For that game to be what it was, take so long to get that initial goal, which is the one that it took to win it by Torres, you would think there would be more from Argentina. There was nothing. There's really nothing there. There was
plenty after the game from Argentina.
It was.
Because they didn't show that on the broadcast, but multiple Argentina players assaulted Spanish players after the final whistle. It's ridiculous. So they were going to be my cheeks.
Yeah, and I have no problem with that.
They were going to be.
Sorry, Anson.
No. I already made my decision, and you guys are going to be shocked by this one, but Bryson DeChambeau.
Is it cheek?
Absolutely.
Okay.
This is ridiculous. The man absolutely stomped down the grass. All right, if you watch it, I know you tried to play it off. Listen, I played golf. I worked at a golf course for a decade. I played Frisbee golf. I know the rules, man. You can kind of do it, but you got caught. You're absolutely stomping down. And then to throw the temper tantrum after the fact, you lost all points with me, Bryson.
Yeah, if you watched the Open this past weekend, man, the 154th Open, yeah, you saw a lot of Americans. They just did not. They had to finish strong with the exception of Cam Young. Cam Young shot a 6 under on day 4, almost put himself in a chance to win. He lost it at the end to Fox, who won that outing, man. But a lot of pouting by American athletes because realistically, Scotty Scheffler was pouting a lot on day 3 and a lot on day 4. A lot of comments he made, very annoying. Also could be a cheek for me. But I'll go peaks. I'll go with Saka. I go, like I said, the striker front.
Saka,
100%. Like he had the hat trick, did his thing, and they allowed him to take the PK so that he could get the hat trick. Mbappe did his thing late in the match, but by then it was too little, too late for Team France. And yeah, Saka did his thing, hat trick on him. For me, my cheek. We had this conversation last year. Running back from the New York Giants. Running back from the New York Giants, Cam Skubal tore his ACL, blew out his messed his ankle up last season. Then we saw him at the WWE.
That one didn't bother me that much.
You said what?
The WWE didn't bother me too much because he wasn't doing a whole lot.
Oh, right. The WWE, when he got into the match, he was doing the whole thing. No, it was a softball game. And he did the backflip.
Yep.
When he got the home plate.
That one I have an issue with.
Guess what? He did this past weekend again. And when he did the backflip again this past weekend, he did it on stage. It was a WWE performance. He came out. They announced him. He walks out, did a backflip again, and he missed. And, well, he hit the backflip, but then there's too much rotation. He fell down and hurt his ankle. At some point, enough is enough. Like, they are depending on you up there in East Rutherford, New Jersey. They're depending on you. No. They think you're going to be the guy. They think you're going to be a running back. You can help them, and you got to sit down. I know John Harbaugh was like, what did I get myself into? He's my cheek. You cannot continue to put yourself in these situations, man, at one point. And then you didn't nail the flip. You landed, you over-rotate, and now it looked like you could have got injured. So Cam Skubal, look, just put the back flips down. Just put them down until you get back on the field.
Fair.
Yeah, that's it for me. Peaks and cheeks. But it's a good week in sports. You know what I'm saying? It was the Tigers. Did you stay up and watch? That's the one thing about the Tigers playing on the West Coast. You get a chance to see some later games.
I was watching my Dynasty baseball scores, so yes, I did get a chance.
Because it's just sicko.
What'd you think?
I mean, listen, I think they're one of the 3 best teams in the American League. It's just, can they stay consistent? Can they stay healthy? And can Hinch manage them to the playoffs? Once they get there, I don't see Tampa Bay or the Yankees or anybody else as heads and tails better than the Tigers. So, hey, I told you guys a while ago, they're not selling. These guys are going to be buyers, and honestly, they're clicking right now. Since the beginning of June, man, they look really good. They look every bit the part of a team that's going to make a deep playoff run.
What about you? What say you? What did you see from the Tigers? I know they're playing Anaheim. Anaheim isn't the best ball club, if you will, but there was something there. 2-1, you win some games. You talk about Haiyu Lee and his performances over the past 3 weeks or so. What did you see?
I saw a team that is playing the best baseball of their season so far, and they are continuing to do so. However, it's going to be a long road back. I mean, they are going to have a extremely impressive back end of the year. Do I think they can do it? Yes. Is it more likely they don't than they do? Yes. But I believe in this team, and I think that you're seeing a lot of guys step up into roles that you didn't necessarily know that they were going to be able to fill, and that's big. Like Montero out of the bullpen has been a revelation and has helped a lot with their struggle, but you still need some back-end bullpen help. I don't think that we get this. I think to make the playoffs, we're going to have to buy to make the playoffs at all.
I agree.
Got to buy to make. I mean, and that's what it seems as though they're setting themselves up for. They're not selling; they are buying. So
and not just our own shortcomings, but the fact is the Red Sox and these other teams that are neck and neck with us right now, they will be buying. So you watched guys do that last year, and you went to the Dollar Tree, and it cost you. But I do think with everything gearing towards a possible shortened, maybe even no season in 2027. They're not selling Skubal, but they'll be buyers.
Did you see Jumai Jones first at bat?
I did for the Sox.
That's a Boston.
Ding dong.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. It kind of reminded me of Blake Griffin. Like his first game as a New Jersey Net after being here forever and not dunking his first game, he had like the monster dunk. You're like, wait, what? Hold on, if you will. Yeah, so it was interesting to see, but kudos to him. But yeah, the Tigers, same thing. I think the Tigers are going to keep on to Tarik Skubal. We talked about the conversation last year. I believe they're going to give it a go. They're going to do all they can. They realize their best opportunity is to keep Tarik Skubal and to keep forging on and put themselves in a position where everybody seems to be beatable. That's what they're trying to do.
The thing that I keep getting a lot of flack for talking about the possible.
You getting flack now.
Right? The possible salary cap that could appear in baseball. Now, even if that doesn't happen, you could see something very similar to what you see in the NBA, where you have Supermax available to be paid only by the team that owns your rights currently. So if something like that gets put into place, our leverage to re-sign and keep extending Tarik Skubal becomes a lot more. So,
yeah.
A lot of interesting possibilities. We'll see what the CBA turns up.
A lot of interesting possibilities. Like Ann Arbor. Interesting possibilities about what that future looks like in Ann Arbor. But that future won't happen until the end of this football season, as Warde Manuel said that he will step down after the calendar year, which we assume will be the football season for the University of Michigan. When we come back, talk a little bit about that. Not a lot going on with that topic, but just initial thoughts on the announcement that was made probably 2 hours or so ago. We'll have that information, the continued story of the athletic director situation in Ann Arbor. But first, let's get a message in from Water Hazard.
And when you are out on the golf course this week enjoying the heat, or like me, if you're out on the lake, Water Hazard is a perfect drink. A lightly carbonated, natural flavors, blue cocktail with real vodka, or stroll into an Art and Jake's and find it there as well. Get in the drink game with the OG's founders today. You will not be disappointed. It tastes like a Baja Blast.
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking. And the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports.
Finally, life-enhancing LASIK surgery at a price you can afford. Michigan's most experienced eye surgeon, Dr. Yaldo, is offering the most advanced LASIK at just $1,699 per eye, regardless of your prescription. Imagine not just being free from contacts and glasses, but actually seeing better without them. This limited 2026 spring offer is thousands less than others charge. Go to YaldoEyeCenter.com for your free evaluation and save.
The next generation of Detroit sports media is here. Crunch Time is back on Woodward Sports. Join Jeff Iafrate and Booner Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Taking Detroit sports coverage to the next level with massive interviews, viral moments, and the best live reactions. Get ready, Detroit. The young guns are taking over. Crunch Time on Woodward Sports.
Hey guys, we're really excited to let you know about our partnership with the Yaldo Eye Center this summer. $16.99 per eye, regardless of prescription, and you can get LASIK done. 8-minute procedure, painless, and the next day, the majority of every patient is seeing 20/20 the very, very next day. over 100,000 successful procedures over the last 30 years. If you live in Detroit, you know about the Yaldo Eye Center. I know you've been thinking about it. It's time to make the call. 248-553-9800. That's $16.99 per eye special. It's only for the summer, so don't delay. Call the Yaldo Eye Center today.
And we are back on Woodward Sports 2.0, Braylon Edwards show on this beautiful Monday. Servicing you guys. Hope you're doing well out there, man. Chad, how was your weekend? What'd you do? What'd you get into? What'd you watch? Let us know. Did any of you guys get a chance to see The Odyssey? More and more people are coming out talking about how great this movie is. Heard somebody even say it's the greatest movie they've ever seen. I would say pump your brakes. But it was damn good. Now, you did hear the news. Warde Manuel came out today per the article on 3. Said that he will step down at the end of the calendar year from the University of Michigan Athletic Department. What are your thoughts when you first heard it? What do you thought? How do you respond? We don't have a ton of information out, but I will say this: it seems as though that What did you got?
I mean, I'm just wondering what the benefit is of January 1 versus July 21.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, if you're about to go into the football season and you got to try and get an AD right together real quickly, it's not the best look for a university. You shake things up in the middle of your most important season. I know basketball is largely important to the Wolverines now, but everything's about football in Ann Arbor. So I think that this makes sense. They've been able to, from a Spartans point of view, they've been able to muddy the waters on this thing just enough where the regents aren't swinging the axe today. The fan base isn't calling for his head as well. And until more stuff comes out with Partridge or anything else, you keep the man around. You don't throw the program into flux and chaos by not having him around. Because realistically, if you get a lot out of Bryce Underwood, you have a dark horse chance to be a national championship this year. So to me, getting rid of him at this point, as much as I'd rather see it in like mid-October, although the weird thing is you guys came into my office, you said calendar date, and you're like, is that the end of the regular season? To me, I would be keeping him until bowl season is done, right?
Yeah.
I don't understand what the difference between January 1 is outside of talking to your accountant.
Last year, the University of Michigan hired their own attorney, their own firm, to go into the athletic department and see what the things were that were going on. Obviously, the Sharon Moore situation, Jim Harbaugh situation, a lot of the things that have come out, Warde Manuel, if you will. They did an investigation, and per that, the investigation did not find that misconduct was widespread throughout the athletics department. So what that means is Warde Manuel trying to get out of paying him his buyout. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? They did not. Warde Manuel still will get his buyout, and I think that's why you're seeing Warde Manuel from now until the end of the year. Neither the investigation nor the culture review found the misconduct was widespread throughout the department. The findings state, the culture review found the weakness in accountability, organizational structure, oversight, and reporting created conditions in which misconduct was not always addressed consistently, promptly, or in accordance with university expectations. This was the import. That was what they found, and that is the regent's ruling on the situation. So Warde maintains his job. At the end of the day, you've already hired Kyle Whittingham. You've already hired the interim basketball coach, which will start their season in November. You already have these things lined up. I think it's important for them to be able to vet that process. When you talk about replacing somebody like Warde Manuel, regardless of what you may feel about him, the things that he was able to do, the hires he was able to make, and where he built your program for the good or for the worse, it's tough to just get somebody in the 26th hour, jump in, hey, now you're the athletic director, you go about the program. So I think for them, that's more so what it was for Taylor Cam and Justin. Hey, look, we didn't find anything on you. Cool, you're good. We'll pay you at the end. Let's ride this wave out into December. It gives them from July to December, in which they've already started the process of vetting the next athletic director for the University of Michigan Wolverines.
Yeah, I think that's important because you're gonna it's gonna be a long process, and he's essentially going to be asked to clean up all the mess that Warde Manuel has left in his wake. However, as a Michigan fan, I just cool. let's clean up the program. Like I would tip the cap to Warde Manuel. What he's done some good things here. He probably didn't hold a tight enough leash on some other things, but at the end of the day, he resulted in 2 unbelievable moments and memories that I will live in my memory for a lifetime. Especially the football national championship that I was at with my dad. And so, I wish him the best of luck. I hope that he, helps facilitate and find this next AD, and I hope that he's a part of the process, because other than the fact that he had the scandals and such under him, he all knows how to run a championship level program, and that's where his expertise will be good in helping find the next leader of Michigan's athletic department.
Here's a question anybody can answer. Michigan is one of those institutions that's so predicated on the Michigan way, the Michigan statement, the Michigan ideology, those who stay, go blue, the team, a Michigan man, like all these cliches, all these things that we have. Well, Jim Harbaugh was that Michigan man, and he was a part of one of the biggest scandals, if you will, as it relates to college football. Warde Manuel also was a Michigan man, and he was also a part of that. He was linked to that. With that being said, now that Warde is going to step down, Kyle Whittingham is hired, has nothing to do with this program. I think the basketball coach has nothing to do with this program. Now I think you see them get further and further away. Do you think it will ever be important again for Michigan to say the Michigan way, or bring in individuals that have ties to Michigan? Or now are we in the new era of Michigan where let's get as far away from Michigan as we can to bring Michigan as far up as we can? Anson, does that make sense? Because every once in a while you bring in Rich Rod. Rich Rod knows nothing about Michigan. You falter and all this BS happens. Then what do? Well, let's go get Brady Hoke. He knows what Michigan is. Well, let's go get Jim Harbaugh. He knows what Michigan is. Let's go get Juwan Howard. He knows what Michigan is. Are we away from that? Like, do we no longer need that in this day and age?
Well, you guys made a commitment in 1850s to being the premier force in the Midwest without exception. And to be quite honest with you, like I'm reading in the chat right here, I see Freddie Feld. He's like championships over leaders and best rhetoric, and then young Justin doubles down on it, saying absolutely. To your point about the difference in generations, where they didn't care about I have to win. Like, people don't care about cheating now. It's so widespread. We look at our government, all of this stuff. Like, people are over it. They don't need to do it the right way. At this point right now, I mean, Michigan coming through all of this with some rings and probably selling more jerseys than they have in a long, long time. Why do you need to go back to leaders and best? It's novel for you and for your father and for people that really look at the old school Bo Schembecker type of Block M idea. But at the same point, we're in 2026, and you can get canceled and people forget 2 weeks later. So I don't know why you would. I mean, yeah, OSU and MSU and all the other fan bases that love to point their fingers at Michigan, at the end of the day, it's all over the place. So these guys want it to happen to them, but at the same time, what do they want them to go back to leaders and best and stop winning? I don't think that the fan bases that hate against Michigan, they're going to be happy with either one. So at the end of the day, all it comes down to is what the fan base wants. And the fan base wants championships. They don't care about leaders and best anymore. Yeah. They have literally told everybody. Our listeners, our TD just said it. I know you're a little different, but I believe that is the era that we're in now. It's championship over, I guess, the pride, or I'm not coming up with the right word, but you get what I'm saying.
No, I got you 100%. I think you start to see it a little bit like as the basketball team is winning and doing the things that they're doing, they're not connected to what the institution has been. They're connected to the right now. Yaxel Lindeborg came up there and said as such when you're trying to interview them about things, interview them about the past. They're like, look, man, yeah, 5-5 is great, but this is our turn. This is what it is now. This is per the interim athletic director coach right now at Michigan, Dominic Grasso. Michigan and Manuel also recently lost men's basketball head coach Dusty May to the NBA, only months removed from winning the national title. This is unacceptable, Michigan's interim president, Dominico Grasso said in a statement, "We have a significant work ahead to restore Michigan athletics to its standing as a model program, not only on the field, but also off the field. Moving forward, we are implementing reforms to improve the areas I mentioned. The recommendations are publicly available on our website, but I want to emphasize a few." What does that even mean when you hear it, Justin? What does that mean, like, for as it relates to Michigan? We want to restore, we want to repair, we want to fix. Is there a chance of that? Because at this point, I think like it is what it is. I don't think there's a situation where you put the genie back in the bottle. I don't think there's ever a situation now where Michigan returns to some ideal of the leaders and best the right way. I think this is a new Michigan, and we have to operate accordingly.
I think that what it comes down to, Braylon, is it's always been kind of pick and choose the Michigan way. You talked about Harbaugh a second ago, and the way that he coached and he had the team stylistically playing was the Michigan way. But then you look at the Berger situation, and you're like, oh well, that's not very leaders and best. So I think it's just become. It has become a cliche that you can hit when you want to hit it, and when it is act to your agenda, you can use it. And so, in all reality, they hope that the next athletic director can come in here, run a clean program, but clean programs don't exist anymore. You have to get into the mud. You have to get into the deep water if you want to be successful, and we're seeing that considering these are these two last national championships that we have experienced in 2026 and in 2023, they are not like the way that Michigan has operated in the past. And they finally reached the mountaintop. So you think that we're going to go back to where we were, having these extreme safeguards around the program and not allowing them to operate in the way that Ohio State was operating, the way that Alabama was operating, the way that Georgia was operating, and that's where I don't think there's any reality where they go back to where it was and how they want to be on it, like the leaders and best, and they want all those cliches to be true time and time again.
Yeah, because I think at the end of the day, all of it is a facade anyway. I believe realistically, like, you're holding on to an idea that wasn't even necessarily the case and true, if you will. You go back to Ed Martin and what happened with the Fab Five and those findings and those things coming out, and then we getting banners taken from us, etc. You go to the Marcus Ray, Charles Woodson incident. I think it was small things like that. There've always been a level of something, but I think in the last 6 years with these things coming out, they've been enough damning to where you can't brush to the side Marcus Ray getting a suit bought for him, which wasn't a big deal, but is it not at the same time if it's against the rules? I think now you're in a space where you can't brush those things to the side and you can't come back from this, but we also are in an era it doesn't even really matter anymore.
Yeah, Sir Evergreen, it's gotten worse in all levels of society, and greed is killing the culture in sports.
Killing the culture, no deed in sports, but at the end of the day, money, money, money. And college football is big business. College sports in general is big business, which is why they've now extended the NCAA basketball field as well. It's big business in these, and they don't want big business to fall short. Don't have a ton on this situation. Don't want to necessarily go further if there's not anything to talk about. Anybody
Big bang,
want to
take little bang.
100%. Big bang, take little bang. And that's what you will see. Anybody want to talk any more about this, or are we through with this topic for now?
I want to tell people how they can get more money in their lives.
There you go.
And I'm talking about Mortgage Pros because they're changing people's lives. Bray and I were out there a month ago. We saw their employee culture, met with their owners. I know some people that work at Mortgage Pros, and it has changed your lives. I know you've been thinking about it. Just like maybe you're thinking about your eyes, I know you're thinking about that ceiling above your head. It's time to break through it. And you can do that with Mortgage Pros. Head on over to mtgopros.com or give them a call. You see the number there, 248-416-1361. They're Michigan's #1 mortgage broker. It's time to change your future. And you can do that with Mortgage Pros.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Some days call for light, others lean bold. What about everything in between? All Day IPA, the easy choice for every day. Citrusy, crisp, refreshing, flavor you can float with. Light on the hops, big on refreshment. 1's great. 2, even better. Brewed with you in mind. No shortcuts, no fuss. Big on flavor, never too much. All day IPA. Hop into easy.
You're building a whole combat sports enterprise in the heart of it in Detroit, and that's what I think is the coolest.
I think with opportunity, right? Like you said, maybe you like to punch people in the face for real, and you know you want to be a boxer, and you have an option there. Maybe you don't like getting punched in the face, and you want to make, you like the theatricals and the storylines, and so you have an avenue here. Maybe you start at one and then want to change to the other. I don't care. I just want you in the building and know that you have some place to go to explore that. Just having the ability to, what do you want to do and how do you want to do it to the best of your ability? And, it all starts with the kids.
The game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports.
It's the original since 1946. We're talking about Buddy's Pizza, and they are
Buddy's Pizza.
Not just pizza. They got amazing spaghetti and meatballs. They got salad. They got wings. They got everything.
Not your daddy's meatballs.
And it is the best. Listen, they're all over Metro Detroit, and we want to save you 20%. Head on over to buddyspizza.com. Enter that code word you see above my head, the Woodward 20, and you're going to get that 20% off your next order. But when you're on their website, check out their catering. You can get yourself $200 off your next pizza party if you use that same code word. They're the original. Since 1946, they are Buddy's Pizza.
Welcome back into the Braylon Edwards Show. This is Woodward Sports 2.0, and we're glad to have you with us on this Monday. Guess we got the polling. The polling is you want to talk about the Detroit Lions. Not a ton to talk about there. Still, training camp is 2 weeks out. Excited to see what this team is going to be. Revamped offensive line. They actually brought in some defensive players. And most notably, they drafted Derek Moore as a rush edge because we've been clamoring for that position. So much is made about the players. I feel like we've come up here from January and we've talked about the Drew Petzing hire. We talked about Mike Kafka. We talked about the players that we brought in free agency. We talked about the players we didn't bring in free agency. We've talked about the draft picks, whether it's Keith Abney being one of the steals of the draft, whether it's one of our wide receivers already tearing his ACL and being out for the season. But I feel like a person that we have not necessarily talked about, a direction we have not necessarily gone in, is who the head man is going to be. And the head man is Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell now going into year 6 as the Detroit Lions head coach, the head man, the installer of this identity, the installer of the grit, the Villain, the individual that understood better than anybody because he was on that team that was 0-16 in 2008. What are you expecting of Dan Campbell, and where is he at right now for you as a head coach? I feel like this is the easy way to have a conversation, just for fun, branch it out there and see what comes of it. But what are your thoughts on Dan Campbell? Because if I saw the same season last year, he's got to get better as well, but he also has to have a grain of salt with him. Where are you at with Dan Campbell as the head man entering year 6 with this newly revamped team?
Well, he generated himself a free pass last year. I think, Justin, you and I were together about a year ago. This time I asked everybody, what is the over-under for the last year that he will be here as our coach? I put out 2036. And at the time, 0 people had an issue with it. In fact, almost everybody took the over that he would be here longer. That's a very long tenure. That's over 15 years for a head coach in the NFL, which is the not-for-long league.
I would never take that.
And no, I know it was,
but
it was capitalizing on the fervor that Lions fans had at the time. Now, fast forward 17 games, a missed playoff berth. And there were people asking for his job legitimately, which is incredibly premature. However, this year, he's put himself in a situation where, okay, you generate this free pass by saying Johnny Morton was the problem. The run game, the offensive line, all that stuff was the problem. Well, you kind of chased out your number 2 back. You bring in 2 new offensive minds. You build up your offensive line, get rid of the old hurt guys. Everything is put together for you to go and be successful and get back to the playoffs. Now, your GM didn't give you a whole lot of help on the defensive side, but at no point has he ever given you that help. You've been able to win 15 games with basically a shadow or a legion of whom of a defense. This is the year, though, Bray.
Yeah.
If he misses the playoff, the heat will be on. Although I don't see Sheila or the Ford board getting or being hasty to get rid of him at any point soon. I think he could go out and win 2 games this year, and his job is safe.
Dan Campbell, you look at an individual who goes 3-13-1 his first year as the Lions head coach. The next year he goes 9-8, almost make the playoffs. You remember the Rams-Seattle game. Because of that, they did not get in. Year 3, they strike gold, 12-5. They get to the NFC Championship, this close to going to the Super Bowl. The following year, they go 15-2. 15-2, the number 1 seed in the NFL, tied with the Kansas City Chiefs, who also go 15-2. And then they lose in the first round of playoffs to they lose in their first playoff game, which is the second round of playoffs, to the Washington Commanders and Jaden Daniels. And last year, off of that, they do not make the playoffs, and they lose out. Justin, this is where I'm at with Dan Campbell. I believe that you see the ascension, you see the rise, you see how good the team got, you see what he was able to do in a 3-year snapshot. Had a bad year last year, didn't necessarily make the decisions that they should have, whether it's the coaching staff, whether it's the offensive linemen. In that offseason, leading up to the season, you have a bad year, you have a down year. Now you've got the offensive line. Now you've brought in better coaches. Now you have a system that works for you, and now you even drafted along the lines of what you should be doing. There aren't a lot of excuses to be had for Dan Campbell this year. What say you about him and being on the hot seat after this season?
I mean, I wouldn't say he's anywhere remote.
Not hot seat, wrong choice of words.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, though, Bray. I like...
This is a no excuses. This is the no excuse year.
Yeah, you have to make the playoffs. You have to rectify missing the playoffs last year and then the early playoff exit. Like, you don't have a playoff win in the last 3 years. Like, that is an issue. Like, you're starting to if you were to miss the playoffs again in a hypothetical world, there would definitely have to be some conversations. However, I don't think that's going to be the case. I think this team is way too good to miss the playoffs. I think they're way too good to not win a playoff series at home, a playoff game, not series, at home that they will most likely be favored in. How much damage they end up doing, it depends on the season, because I still am going to need to see some type of move on this defense before the trade deadline that adds to the infrastructure, because it's not good enough right now, especially losing TA and with the transition so-called to being 2 more nickel coverages by Shep. It's going to be interesting to see where this defense is at, how they're holding up. Obviously, I am more optimistic than others when it comes to the Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch situation, because in my opinion, if Brad Holmes knew that he wasn't going to get a lot from them, he would have done something more advantageous to helping this team win than just sitting on your hands essentially at the safety position, just bringing back Avonte Maddox, who's a solid backup, but he's not who we're talking about taking up starting minutes here. You know, you're going to need Kirby and you're going to need Branch, and the fact that they didn't go out there and get even a starting level safety shows me that they're fairly confident that they're going to get them both back by the time that there is meaningful football being played at the back end of December, start of January.
I agree with you on that. And even when we saw that fun video of Kirby Joseph throwing the phone over to security last week, you see the moves, you see the hand-eye coordination is there. I think it lets you know that Kirby may be back. I know he didn't have to run around in that footage, but sometimes people put things out there. They're trying to let you know something. Sweet Potato Camp, just for you, just watching as a whole. I think a lot has been made. First 3 years up under Dan Campbell, what do we hear out? Like, man, it's Dan Campbell's team. It's what Dan Campbell is. It's his identity. It's that grit. It's that Belaine. He's brought these guys. I trust in the leader. I trust in the commander-in-chief. Dan Campbell, I think the last couple of years, though, you see the Washington Commanders playoff game. You see Ben Johnson go elsewhere. You see some of the moves not made. You see some of the falter happen last year. You know, where are you with your confidence level in Dan Campbell as a head man, as a head coach? Because I think at once upon a time it was Dan Campbell, Dan Campbell's team, Dan Campbell's ideology. Now it's, well, we should be good because we still have the Pro Bowl players. We still have the structure. We still have the players that we drafted. What say you?
You know, I feel like we got to remember that him and Brad Holmes are in their current positions here for not a long time now, and he is learning on the fly. I feel like their approach this offseason has been different than in years past. No nonsense once OTAs began. I mean, he was not playing. We could read his body language, hear what he was saying. But I feel like they also methodically retooled that offense as well. Not just the line, but good support for Gibbs there. And hopefully these new coordinators take a lot off his plate so he can become the head coach once again, rather than being spread so thin and having to wear multiple hats last season, as we saw what the results of that were. So I really feel like they're learning on the fly here. They have since adjusted their approach, and hopefully this trajectory is in a more sound and successful direction.
Where would you put Dan Campbell in terms of top 10 coaches in the NFL? Like, we're just random thinking, spot check. Where would you throw him?
7.
Put him 7?
Yeah, he's certainly a top 10 coach. I think that you can fight for him to be in the top 5, considering he has influenced the way that the NFL is played now. Coaches are going for it more. But at the end of the day, I do believe that it's been decisions by Dan that lost us the San Francisco game and some other games along the way. I don't know if he's allowed to learn on the fly in year 5 and 6, but at the same point, to Cam's point, they did take a different approach this season. They took professionalism and availability over ceiling and possibility.
Yeah.
So I think that you got to just become a little more stoic. You got to be a little more conservative. You have the players. You don't have to play the desperate style of play calling that you did in those first few years to get over the hump. And I think that we saw some of that desperate play calling over these last couple of years when you just already had a great team, a great product. I don't think that they have to play this year. So as much as we've seen Brad change his approach this offseason to more consistent players, more professional, available players, I'd like to see Dan do the same thing and play, maybe kick it a little more.
And kick a little bit more. Yeah, definitely the league has changed as it relates to going for it on fourth down. I think last year the Detroit Lions on fourth down, though, they weren't necessarily the best versions of themselves. Sean McVay, Andy Reid, Kyle Shanahan, Jim Harbaugh, Sean Payton, Vrabel.
Top 7.
I'm just saying, like, outside of that,
You said Andy Reid early, correct?
I did.
Okay, good.
I mean, Mike McDonald won a championship.
I didn't hear that.
Like,
I just say if we didn't have him on there, he's got to be.
I put Andy. Andy was second one I named. Mike McDonald won a championship last year, so I mean that unfortunately puts him to seriously. But Dan Campbell's definitely in the top 10. I don't think he's less than 8.
Agreed.
For sure. Just wanted to ask conversation. You sweet potato, what you think?
I place him in the top 10 for sure. Just the gumption he displays. We see it post game. I can only imagine what goes on behind the scenes in the locker room. And like Anson had alluded to, the influence he has made on the game itself, not just in the league, the Shield, but all football leagues from Pee Wee on up. All of them have been modified thanks to this fiery young man.
Chet doesn't like your rankings.
Oh,
I was just naming some coaches realistically.
They don't like Vrabel over Dan.
Okay.
Vrabel's
been to a Super.
Talk to him, because El Boulevard, man, Braylon got to be joking. He says.
Why do I have to be joking? You're talking about an individual who took Ryan Tannehill to the AFC Championship. Let me say that again.
People forget.
He took Ryan Tannehill, who came into college as a wide receiver before he was a quarterback, to the AFC Championship game, realistically. And then he got to the New England Patriots last year. In year 1, he goes to Super Bowl. Easy schedule. I get all that. But you know how hard it is to still go to the Super Bowl. So I'm looking at it through that lens. Mike Vrabel has had success on 2 different franchises. Things like that, they can't go understated. So when you look at that, tell me why Dan Campbell over Mike Vrabel?
Dante 151, no, Braylon. I would not put Jim Harbaugh ahead of Dan Campbell. Dan won a playoff game with the Lions. And what happened to the Chargers? They choke on wild card week.
Yeah, just like the Lions choke last year and the year before that. So, like, if you want to play the choking game, we could play that. They won 15 games and then did nothing in the playoffs. Like, last time Dan Campbell won a playoff game was 3 seasons ago. Jim Harbaugh got to literally, I was on his first team. We won 12 games. Then year 2, they go 13 games. And year 3 goes to the Super Bowl. No, year 2 he goes to the Super Bowl. Played in the Super Bowl. And then he left, goes to Michigan. And he comes back. Went to the playoffs. The very first year with the Chargers, who stunk. Turned them into the best defensive team in the league, thanks to the help of Jesse Minter, who's now the head coach for the Baltimore Ravens. Been to 3 straight playoff games, 3 straight playoff appearances as a head coach. So you said you want to. The same excuses you make about your Lions is the same excuses the Chargers are making. We didn't have Joe Alt. We didn't have Rashawn Slater. We didn't have this person. We didn't have Kirby Joseph. We didn't have Brian Branch. So just looking at it from that perspective, Jim Harbaugh has come into the league and done exactly what he did when he left the league 10 plus years ago. So Jim and Mike Vrabel, got any other ones on why they shouldn't be ahead?
L Boulevard. Vrabel is good, but you're just a Dan hater.
That's not a Dan hater. Like, show me what Dan has done that warrants him to be over Mike Vrabel, and I'm fine with it. Like, they're 7-8 or 8-7. I really don't care. Not that big of a deal. Like, it's not like I said Mike Vrabel was number 3 overall. Like, how is that a Dan hater? Show me where I'm hating on Dan.
El Boulevard, one more time. Give Dan a defense. Our entire starting defense was hurt one year. And then we got a super chat. Our first of the day.
How long are we going to play the game of my entire defense was hurt?
2 years.
Like, how many? But we said that in 2022. Then we said it in 24. And then we said it in 25. Like, is that the excuse every single year? I just want to know so I can move accordingly, because I can keep bringing up the same stale-ass excuse that you guys always hate. Go back and look at the San Francisco 49ers last year and who was out and who didn't play and who missed the season. Go back and look at that and see how many games they won. And see, they still had opportunities. And they made the second round of playoffs. So that's a moot point with the injuries. I'm not hating on Dan. Like, I'm not. I'm just being honest. I told you 2 different guys, 2 different teams, 2 different times. They took those teams and they did things. Not hate.
Kevin Bell. Braylon, has Vrabel ever had a 15-2 season with no defense?
He had a 13-4 season with no offense. He went 13-4 with no offense. Then what are we talking about?
El Boulevard, just say you want Dan Campbell canned, Braylon.
I don't want Dan Campbell canned. I want Dan Campbell to show us what we believe he's capable of. And now that there are no excuses this season, there's an offensive line. There are 2 offensive coordinators. And if you want to include him, there's 3. There's a healthy situation. I think their secondary is going to be much healthier than they're alluding to. That's why they feel good. I think the defensive line is going to be a lot better this year. I think they're going to have all the things and all the intangibles that they need to be a contender. So we will see. But nobody's hating on Dan. I'm just being honest. Mike Vrabel took this is Tennessee Titans that we're talking about. They suck. They had 3 freaking players. They had Simmons, Henry, and A.J. Brown. And they legitimately had an opportunity. In fact, they beat Lamar Jackson to get to the AFC Championship. And then his first year with the New England Patriots, they get to the Super Bowl. So how was him getting to the Super Bowl? How was him, like, saying he's a hate? How are you? I'm confused. Your whole game is to get to the Super Bowl. You guys are clamoring to get to the Super Bowl. He went to the Super Bowl last year. And if the Lions go to the Super Bowl this year, I guarantee you're not going to say, well, the schedule sucked. It was the easiest Super Bowl ever. It was the easiest season ever. That's not what you're going to say if your Lions go to the Super Bowl. You're going to say Dan Campbell and his team played their ass off, and they got to the Super Bowl. Well, unfortunately, that's what happened last year for Mike Vrabel. Like, I know he got the Diana Rossini stuff going on, and maybe that clouds the judgment, but
doesn't that knock you down a couple pegs?
He got to the Super Bowl, and at the end of the day, I guarantee you, if Dan Campbell was out here cheating and won the Super Bowl, y'all wouldn't care because he won the Super Bowl. Like, so don't play that game with me. Like, show me what, like, you want to argue? Let's argue. Mike Vrabel was in the Super Bowl last year. What conversation are we having? His first year as a head coach, he got to the Super Bowl with this team. What conversation are we having? You're trying to get to the Super Bowl. You want Dan to get you to the Super Bowl. I believe potentially there's some opportunity there. What are we arguing? Who's the other coach I was talking about? Jim Harbaugh? Mm-hmm. You want to argue me on the Jim Harbaugh front as well?
Well, Dante wants to ask if you really think that Harbaugh would be the better coach for the Lions, that he would take the Lions to a Super Bowl.
Like, I know I play that game when it comes to quarterback, which quarterback fits into a system, et cetera, et cetera. But when I'm talking about my coaches, I'm talking about what have they done? What have they proven? Jim Harbaugh proven he was a good coach with the San Francisco 49ers. Got to the Super Bowl in year 3. Comes back year 1, they get to the playoffs. Like they said that the Chargers team was a mess. It was chaotic. Got to the playoffs year 1. Got to the playoffs in year 2. Was the best defense in year 3. And year 2. So what are we talking about?
Duncan G is spending $5 to talk about the fact that a great coach doesn't bring his own drama into the locker room, Bray.
What drama did Jim Harbaugh bring into the San Diego?
I think he's talking about Vrabel.
Look, if you want to get semantics, when you start mentioning points like that, yeah, 100%. Dan Campbell's not out there doing things that, messing around. He's
not playing hide the salami.
Yeah, he's not playing hide the salami. He's not messing around on his wife, et cetera, et cetera. He's not doing things that are distractions, with the exception of too many commercials last year, which is why you don't see him in commercials this year. He's not doing anything, and you're absolutely right. I'm not arguing what he's doing in his spare time. I'm arguing what he does on that field and what he makes in that huddle and what are the decisions that he does and how does he get his team to operate in the best version of themselves. And that's what I saw out of Vrabel. So if you want to give me all these semantics, they're fine. This is a fun conversation. Can he get it done in between the hashes? Because Mike Vrabel did last year. With all the Diana Rossini shit going on last year, guess who still got to the Super Bowl? Mike Vrabel.
Vrabel doesn't have as bad as a playoff loss as the Lions losing to the Commanders as a 1 seed.
Like, did somebody in year 1 as a quarterback walk up into Gillette Stadium and whoop up on the Patriots? No, that didn't happen under Mike Vrabel, but it happened under Dan Campbell, who was in year 4, who had won 15 games. So, no, don't play those games. I actually listed ones that I didn't even think that were going to be pushed back. I didn't say Mike McDonald because he won the Super Bowl 40 years ago.
Duncan Stewart in the chat. Harbaugh stole signals and got fired over it.
Yeah, in college. He didn't steal no signals when he was the Chargers, got him fired. He didn't steal signals with the San Francisco 49ers, got him fired. If you guys want to play like kids, we can play like kids. Yes, he cheated in college. He got in trouble. He ran to the NFL. As soon as his ass got to the NFL, he turned into a winner yet again. That fast. With a team full of people that they said were soft and finesse and didn't want to be there and didn't want to buy into what the culture was. So we can do this all day. Because at the end of the day, who was in the playoffs last year? Jim Harbaugh and Mike Vrabel. Who wasn't? We'll take a commercial break, and when we come back, we can continue the conversation because I'll be here all day. Justin, tell us about, you know what?
I will tell him about Mad Pack's Captain America because he can do this all day, and you know what I can do all day is smoke Mad Pack because it's that damn
because Dan
good.
Campbell ain't got it done. Don't be mad at me. Be mad. Show that same hate. Show that for your coach. Show that for your team. That same excitement, that same energy. Like, breathe that same stuff into your team. Bring that same passion into your team. Be disappointed your team ain't make the playoffs last year. Stop pointing me to the schedule that they're going to play this year. Stop pointing me to who was hurt last year. Your team didn't make the playoffs. They almost lost to famous Jameis Winston and a wide receiver catch. They got 295 yards of rushing offense put up against them by the Steelers. It wasn't Derrick Henry on that team. It wasn't Saquon Barkley 2 years ago on that team. It was the Steelers. So relax. So when I say Mike Vrabel, I'm sticking with Mike Vrabel. And when I say Jim Harbaugh, I'm sticking with Jim Harbaugh until you show me otherwise. And I think that's fair. How many playoff wins does Dan Campbell have in 6 years? How many playoff wins does Jim Harbaugh have in the last 3? Sorry, Justin.
You're all good. And if you want to win some playoff games, well, the Mad Packs have won a couple Cannabis Cup games, so make sure you tap in with them. The High-Low Pre-Roll and the Boom Shakalaka will make you feel a lot better about the Detroit Lions not have won a playoff game in 3 years. Let's talk about it because that's what I need. So make sure you tap in them today. 1.3 and 1.5 gram options, Keef coated, resin infused. They're the best in the game. So check out Mad Packs at a local dispensary near you today.
Hunting season is almost here, Detroit, and your Lions are on the prowl. Make sure you're locked into Woodward Sports for all the Dan Campbell reactions, Jared Goff touchdowns, Amon-Ra first downs, Penny pancakes, Kirby picks, Gibbs big plays, and of course, Jack Fox's leg. Stay locked in on all your Lions coverage right here on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Experience summer in Detroit with pro soccer at Keyworth Stadium. Every Detroit City FC match brings a new reason to show up early and stay late. Tickets available now at deadcityfc.com.
Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports.
Summer nights, I got it. Summer nights, cold drinks, and Tigers. Baseball, you know what time it is. What
Tigers.
Hit it to Art and Jake's in Shelby Township. I always tell you, we love being on location. 80 TVs, wall-to-wall action, wall-to-wall fun, wall-to-wall vibes. It is a vibe. And there's 22 beers on tap. But check this out. Come hang out with us as we do, both and the crew. We'll be live Wednesday, July 22nd at 8 p.m. as Detroit takes on the Chicago Cubs. Is that just Wednesday? You won't miss a single pitch. I told you. Come party with us. Grab a Founders, as Anson is always talking about. Watch the games. Just take it in. Take it all in. Have a good time. Enjoy the summer. It's cooling off a little bit. Perfect time to come up, hang with us. Enjoy the menu. Enjoy the vibe. Enjoy Art and Jake's. This is where you should do it. Check the app out as well.
Black Casper in the chat. Thank you for the ones who actually are realistic. Bray spitting facts. I love Dan Campbell myself, but the truth is, who has won and who has not? It's simple. Get your emotions out of it, chat.
We're excited to welcome Icon Auto Repair and Collision to the Woodward Sports family. No, I love it. I love it. If you've been in an accident or your vehicle needs repairs, make sure you trust the team at Icon Auto Repair and Collision. With 3 convenient metropolitan Detroit locations, Madison Heights, Shelby Township, and Pontiac, they are the team for you. Check this out. They offer free car loaners and even offer to pay your deductible. Visit them now. Get on board right now. IconAuto.com. It's the icon that you can count on.
Jumped the gun a little on that one, eh?
No.
I was so excited about it because you got some flack, but there was a lot of people in there absolutely loving everything that you had to say. And I think that one, the emotion is so much in Lions fans, it's hard to let go of the kneecap, man.
This is the thing, man. As we come back to the second hour of the show, man, really good show for it. Just having some fun, throwing some things against the wall, see what sticks on a Monday like today. It's not a conversation where I come in bashing Dan Campbell. Like, I just want Dan Campbell to be better for the season. That's why I opened it up. You know, what does Dan Campbell need to do? I started naming names. I didn't know the ones that I named were going to be pushed back. I didn't know they were, because when I'm having that conversation, like, I'm looking at what individuals have done in a consistent form, and what have they shown me? When I look at Jim and when I look at Mike Vrabel, I just look at 2 individuals that I've seen when they're given opportunities. They've consistently done it in 2 different franchises, so I have to give them a little more stake. One of those guys just went to the Super Bowl. One of those guys has been to the Super Bowl, and in his first 3 seasons with the Los Angeles Chargers, 2 seasons, because he was there 24-25. This will be his 3rd. He's been to the playoffs twice already. Came into a team with no defense. He came into a team with no offensive line, and he revamped that. He drafted Joe Alt, already had Rashawn Slater, provided Justin Herbert with an opportunity to be a little bit more consistent. So I'm not dissing Dan Campbell, and I feel like for those of you who are trying to make it about, Jim Harbaugh cheated in Michigan, you guys are a little emotional about your leader. Like, I get it. I'd be a little emotional too. I want my guy to be the guy. I want to make sure I'm giving unwavering support. But you got to make sure that support is met with truth. Yeah. And in the truth of the situation, if you're talking Mike Vrabel and Jim Harbaugh versus Dan Campbell, there's a fun conversation to be had. For me, it's not that much of a conversation.
In your lifetime, how many top 10 head coaches have the Detroit Lions had in it?
Like, in my lifetime, none.
Just one.
Like Dan.
So
Like
as
Dan-
much
like
as
Dan
you
is
guys,
it.
that's right.
ain't
He was
close.
the one that started the conversation off
Yeah.
saying he's number 7 or 8. At the same time, there's 6, 7, 8 guys that are ahead of him. They all been in the Super Bowl, and they maybe even won more than one.
Yeah, I mean, and also too, it's the trajectory. It's all the things. Justin get you in. I mean, it's all the things. Yes, you see what Dan Campbell has done as it relates to working with Brad, working with Sheila, and building a team up for nothing. We know this team was in the pits. Quintricia did the Detroit Lions no justice, no service, no favors. They left us out to die. They left you guys out to hang as a fan base. And here comes Dan. Here comes Brad. They built this thing up. They figure it out in year 1. Year 2 start to get a little more semblance of what they are. They win 9 games. And then in year 3, here it is. The boom starts. But for me, stop blaming injuries, because this is what we do here in Detroit. Oh, they lost in 2022. All the injuries, this is why they couldn't get 10 wins. In 2024, Aiden Hutchinson, Alex Anzalone, you can go down the list. Stop with the excuses on injuries. Dan Campbell is a really good coach, and if you want him to be better than those 2 coaches, this is the year. Can we just agree to say that? This is the year where this won't have to be a conversation. You have everything you need going into the season. You have the offense. You have a much better defense if the individuals are healthy. You even got yourself offensive coordinators, plural now. So this will be the season that Dan can get to wherever you want him on that list. 4, 5, hell, 3. But he's got to go out there and prove it. He's got to go out there and make great in-game decisions. He's got to go out there and be the leader. He's got to go out there and be the catalyst. And it can't be situations where as soon as Ben Johnson leaves, all of a sudden it's all this, is it Dan's team? Was it Ben Johnson's team? Was it the offensive line? Why didn't he make these conversations? This is a year where there are no excuses. I don't want excuses this year. That's my thoughts.
Hey, I love it. Something in here I wanted to read, but they are coming in fast, guys. We do appreciate you.
I have a PSA while you're doing that. I watched before the show today. I watched the Doomsday trailer for Avengers. Just don't watch it. I'm just telling you, just don't watch it. It's not worth it. It's cool what they show you, but I of course, in very commonplace for movies these days, they showed too much in the trailer, and it pissed me off.
They do that so much. Anything that I'm excited about, like Spider-Man or any of these big movies, I'm not only covering my eyes, I got my fingers in my ears.
I know. I just wanted to see Doom. I literally just wanted to see what Doom looked like in this current iteration. That's all I cared about seeing, and I stayed for 1 second too long because there was a major plot point that I already kind of figured that was going to be in the movie, but I would still have liked the surprise of seeing it on screen for the first time instead of on your laptop.
You mean Dr. Doom you wanted to see?
Yeah, I wanted to see what he looked like with this iteration, because with all the RDJ stuff, it could be like a Tony Stark variant or whatever. Like I wanted to see if they had like an Iron Man-esque to what he looks like.
I don't even want to know what characters are in it, Brian.
I'm still thinking about the chat like pushing back against me. I said Vrabel and Jim Harbaugh, and then I'm laughing because then they point out Jim Harbaugh, what he did in Michigan. Like, grow up. Like, we ain't talking about what he did in Michigan. Like, it is what it is. Like, we talk about enough on this show, but in the NFL, it'd be different if I said Matt LaFleur.
El Boulevard.
Like, if I came up here and said Matt LaFleur was ahead of Dan Campbell, and you guys wanted to push back, that would be even a little bit more of a fun conversation, even though he's been to the NFC Championship.
El Boulevard in the chat. Bray, if you want Dan Campbell out, just let it be known.
No, I don't want him out. I want him to prove. I want him to prove what you guys believe he is, and what I think he has the potential to be. But just because somebody has the potential doesn't mean I'm putting them in that spot right now. You still got to go get it. Like, you still got to go get it. You look at Dan Campbell the last 2 years. I get it. He won 15 games 2 years ago, but then he lost to the Commanders. And there was a lot of that was a coaching situation. Players you started, things you did, defenses you ran. Like, that falls on the coach. Like, you can push the blame down to the offensive coordinator who's getting another job. You can push the blame down to the defensive coordinator who was getting another job. You can push the blame down to guys that weren't playing. I ain't trying to hear it. And then you follow that appearance up with a campaign in 2025 where you don't make the playoffs, and the reasons why you don't make the playoffs have exactly to do with the things we talked about before the season even started. Like, that weighs on Dan Campbell. So for all the momentum that Dan Campbell built, like last year was a halt point. And so in that halt point, I'm not going to choose Dan Campbell over somebody that just made the Super Bowl. Just made the Super Bowl, and this is his second team. I'm sorry. I'm not picking him over Mike Vrabel in that space. Like, Mike Vrabel was in the Super Bowl last year. Dan Campbell was sitting at home watching the playoffs. Like, I don't think that's fair. So I think sometimes we have to let our emotions, like, temper our emotions a little bit.
Speaking of rankings that piss people off, Dante 151, $5 in the super chat. Psst. Bray.
I see dead people.
The NFL ranked Mr. Sunshine, Trevor Lawrence, 7 spots.
Yeah.
Ahead of Lamar Jackson, and Drake London 3 spots ahead of Jackson as well. What? That's Dante.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's crazy. Yeah, it's a recency bias, and it is what it is. I think Lamar Jackson's situation is a little bit different than more recency bias. I think that's absolutely crazy. But, Mr. Sunshine, a.k.a., what was his name? Ronnie Bass. Because he's talking about Friday on talking about Remember the Titans.
Sunshine, lollipops, and
100%.
rainbows.
Trevor Lawrence has not proven at this level that he was what they said he was going to be coming into it. Realistically, I disagree.
So the Bryce Underwood of the NFL?
Yeah, he had a bad first year. Bryce had a bad first year. Recovered in year 2-ish. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. They both were ESPN #1 players of the year.
And that's a good time for Michigan Go Blue. He has a $5 super chat. Does Braylon Edwards still think Underwood can be a generational talent?
I never thought that he was a generational talent, so I don't like that word. That's one of those triggers for me. Is everybody is generational. Like nowadays, you come back and say, "Oh, the generational talent, oh, elite." They use these words so often that they've lost meaning. Like generational talent was used to describe individuals that you will not see for a very, very, very long time. And then it got to the point where maybe he might just be the best player in the next 3-4 years. So I don't think he's a generational talent. I believe he has a lot of ability, and if harnessed and coached the right way, he potentially down the line could be something special. Generational, nah. Like generational, generational. When you see it, it's like, oh, this is different.
He looked generational in high school.
No, he looked like a freaking amazing athletic talent in high school. Okay. Like I went to the game where they lost to Catholic Central. When you see him, I saw him make a throw where I was like, oh shoot. I saw a lot of other players where I was like, that's not gonna cut it. There's a lot of hero ball being played out there. So generational, no. An actual elite athletic talent, yes. But what does that talent look like? It has to be harnessed the right way. Potential is only one part of the process. Talent is only one part of the process. Who are your coaches? What is your harness? What is your buy-in level, man? What do your teammates look like? All that plays into what you can be. So generational, no. But the talent to be something special, yes. But I gotta see it. I gotta see it fast. At the start of the season, I gotta see it fast. Like that Oklahoma game this year. To answer the Bryce Underwood question, this is your wheelhouse too, Jay. The Bryce Underwood question, that Oklahoma game, that has to look different if we're trying to get back on track to be something special. Like this year, I don't want to hear the excuse, the coaching, the quarterback's coach, things of that. If you're going to be a talent like that, if you can do something special, if you can do some things that you talk about, hell, you told you the best player in Michigan history. You told you the best player to ever come out of Michigan. So if these are true, then that Oklahoma game, which is at home, it's not down there in Norman, it's not Boomer Sooner, and you get to play in Ann Arbor. Y'all got 10 of those games in Ann Arbor this year. It's got to look different. When we see it, we got to be like, this is what ESPN saw 2 years ago. This is what they saw when they said, you know what, the hell, don't go to LSU. We'll pay you this money. We got to see it. And if it's generational, Justin, you shouldn't have to beg to see it.
No, absolutely not. I'm hoping that I see, top 5 Big Ten quarterback play this year.
Facts.
Like honestly, he's got all the tools in the tool bag. He's 6'5", he's got all the measurables in the world, but is he comfortable enough sitting in the pocket delivering on time, on target throws time after time? That's what we need to see, because he still hasn't shown that. He still looked uncomfortable in the pocket in a spring game, and I know it's a spring game, but that's where you should look comfortable. That should be the non-negotiable that I expect to see out of you, is that you're playing in a low contest, no blitzing. That was a caveat that they had in the spring game this year for Michigan, is that they didn't blitz at all. He should have had plenty of time to throw back there. He didn't sit back there. He didn't look comfortable, and that's what I need to see. He needs he needs to improve his accuracy, but more importantly, he needs to improve just as a quarterback in general. And like we talk about it when it comes to Jared Goff all the time, is Jared Goff is elite at playing the position of quarterback, finding the open guy, being a point guard. He might not look the best while he does it, but it's the opposite for Bryce Underwood. Bryce Underwood, his ball, like it shoots off his hand. He throws it with the power of 1,000 winds behind it. I mean, that's just he runs like he's galloping like a gazelle. Like I mean, it's like how it's like everything. The intangibles are all there. He looks great while he does it, but I want to see it on the field. I want to see him improve as a quarterback and as a player this year. And if he does that, then that will be enough for me. Any type of improvement will make me happy because I don't think even if he improves to this star level potential that this team still finds its way into the playoff.
I was gonna ask a question, like realistically, and I know the answer, and so this isn't. I'm not trying to stoke you guys, but like, who's a better coach, Sean McDermott or Dan Campbell?
Sean McDermott.
And see, they're not gonna agree with that, and they're not gonna like that in chat.
Has Dan Campbell made an AFC Championship game?
He's made NFC once.
Has he?
Consistent.
How many years in a row have the Bills made the playoffs at this point? They're in year 7.
Didn't McDermott get fired, though, no?
Yeah, that's circumstantial.
Too much success, Bray.
Too much success without getting to the mountaintop.
Because at some point, we got to put the blame on somebody, and we can't put the blame on our quarterback, who had 6 turnovers, and we can't put the blame on our offensive coordinator, who we want to keep around because we want him to be the head coach. So, you know what? Looks like Sean McDermott. Looks like you're out.
Hey,
I don't even like Sean McDermott, but
I got a bunch of names, courtesy of the chat, of who they think's generational. I'm just gonna say them out loud.
Okay,
and y'all can react.
This is fun because
hold
on. Are they current or are they current?
They're all
former?
kind of names on here.
Okay, fair.
First one, Will I Am. Aiden Hutchinson is generational.
No. He's not generational, because he's not doing anything that's over the top, extra special. Like, is he a damn good defensive end? Yes. Does he have the potential to be the best defensive end in this league? Yeah. Just because you're the best don't make you generational. TJ Watt's not generational.
Was he generational in Michigan?
No.
That's the case.
He wasn't.
I know.
He legitimately, the year he finally took over and became the starter, he got hurt, which was his junior year. And then his senior year, he goes out there and he breaks his father's record. So shout out to him. But generational? No. Damn good, yeah.
Kevin McGonigal says mazed up.
Ooh.
I think he's really, really good. But I don't know if he's generational. Because realistically, we had this conversation when we were talking about it, and we were giving him some love about a week and a half ago. We said that, is he a superstar? We had to ask that question. You ain't got to ask that question about generational players. But he's a good question. We could spend 30 minutes.
Easy.
We could spend 30 minutes on that back and forth. Is he or isn't he? So the fact that you could do that, that's a really good question.
No doubt.
That's a good question.
That's a fair question.
Mike Grom 212, who has been taking and delivering shots for the last week in the chat,
Is he a bartender?
Peyton Manning, Reggie Bush, and Kirk Cousins.
Peyton Manning, yes.
One of those is not like the other.
Yeah, Peyton Manning, yes.
Reggie,
I don't have to answer.
at USC.
I was just about to say Reggie has an athletic talent. Mm-hmm. Like when you put him as that old school position athlete, he's a generational athlete. Because even in the NFL, he was a generational athlete. Like, so yes, generational athlete, college generational player. Peyton is generational on both.
Jameis was generational in college, says Hin Noel. Bryce ain't that. Generational makes everyone better around you.
Yeah, I also agree with that. I think Jameis is an amazing talent.
Famous Jameis. He's as famous as ever nowadays.
Well, people forget how good he was at pitching.
He was amazing.
People forgot how good he was at baseball.
Yep.
Like, and to do that as a freshman at Florida State, that wasn't a red shirt. Or it was a red shirt. It was his red shirt freshman year. But yeah, no, he wasn't generational, but he's insanely good.
Yeah. Will I Am once again. Miguel Cabrera is generational.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, he won World Series at 20, and then turned around and should have 2 Triple Crowns. We all know he got hurt that
Bruce
second year.
Since 67.
You know what Miguel Cabrera is? And shout out to Miggy. Miggy's cool, man. I actually spent some time with Miggy like in Royal Oak back in the day, man. Just good dude, good soul, good spirit, good heart, good energy. He's kind of like that Kobe conversation about Shaq. He's kind of like the Kobe conversation, like what Shaq says about Kobe. Like, if he wanted to put a little bit more into it, what he would be.
Kirk Cousins was generational at getting paid. I see what you did.
His money is elite.
Bo Jackson, generational.
No, that's not generational. Bo Jackson is like never happening again.
Centurion.
Like, there you go. Centurion 100 piece. Like, Jim Thorpe, like, was the first one. I watched his special a little bit. Boy, oh boy.
Jim Thorpe?
Yeah, like it's on Netflix right now. You gotta watch it. Like, what they did to him, he's a Native American. That was his ethnicity, if you will. That was his cultural background. Obviously, it's always been interesting in this country as it relates to oppression, et cetera, et cetera. But his Olympics getting erased it's crazy. There was a guy, all right, Jim Thorpe, back in the early 1900s, I want to say 1912 is when he was in the Olympics. I'll make this one short. Like, just amazing athlete, goes to the Olympics. There's an individual from America that's supposed to be the guy. It's Abney Johnson, some douchebag to wear glasses. Like, he's supposed to be the guy. Like, this dude was so far behind after the first 5 events of the decathlon, which Jim Thorpe competed in the decathlon and the pentathlon, legitimately, which is 5 events, heptathlon, 5 and 10. This dude was so far behind that he dropped out of the race after 6 events. This Abney dude dropped out of the race after 6 events. He quits, essentially. Jim goes on to win. He won 5 of the 10 events. He then finished second in like 3 of the last, whatever. He wins the event. Abney goes on years later to be on the AAU and the Olympic Committee, and the stuff that he did to Jim and the records and the rulings and the findings and to Jesse Owens, oh man, it's a real piece of work. But I say this to say this: Bo Jackson is like, you ain't seeing like him, Dion, like it's some people that are just different,
unicorns.
Like, you'll never see, some other
Jahmyr
names?
Gibbs. They're having fun with this one, Brandon. Jahmyr Gibbs' generation.
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Speed. Or all of it?
It's all of it. Because early on when he first got here, it was, can he run between the tackles? We know he can get to the outside. We know if he gets to the outside, he hit the home run. We know he's 4.2 speed. We know, but now you see an individual that can catch out of the backfield, runs between the tackles, doesn't mind taking the contact. He is a durable running back. The running on the outside, passes out of the backfield, down the field, like the things he does. Yes, I would say that is generational talent.
Barry Sanders.
Yeah, that's
Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Catfish Caleb.
Mahomes, yes.
Yep.
Caleb, I say the verdict isn't out yet. Like, I don't know, and I don't want to disrespect him. I don't want to disrespect the people that hate him, but at the same time, he's with Ben Johnson now, man, and if he can dial in, like the things you saw last year remind me of things I saw at USC, reminds me of what people were talking about when they viewed him as such. So, a maybe.
Michael Vick.
Like a maybe. Lamar Jackson, generational.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, now this is a tough one because I love Lamar. You guys know that, but I will almost say no.
Okay. Myles Garrett.
Yes.
Michael Vick.
He's like Lamar. Like Lamar's a better passer of the football. They're both elite with the running. But I got to see more like what it – because they play a position that's quarterback. So are they a generational quarterback? Michael Vick's not a generational quarterback. Lamar Jackson is not a generational quarterback. But if you're talking about talent, Lamar Jackson is he's a generational athletic talent with everything around it.
Myles Garrett.
You said that one.
Final one from Aaron to the Stone.
Penei Sewell is generational.
He is. Well, we got to pay some bills, but I like Aaron to the Stone. Braylon Edwards.
Hey, shout out. Go Blue.
Hey, Gordon's here.
I appreciate that. What's
up, buddy?
I appreciate that one.
Had to call on the righty.
I appreciate that, man. You know what I'm saying? A lot of talent there, a lot of skill there, man. I had to If I'd busted my ass a little bit harder, man, maybe I'd be in that conversation. But I say no to myself, although I was just pretty good.
Generational college Big Ten receiver. That's for damn sure.
But see, but that lets you
best to ever come out of Ann Arbor.
But that lets you know where I'm at with it. Like, I don't just say yes. Just say yes. Like, I'm up here, I tell the truth. So.
You know what my dad told me when I was a kid? There'll never be a better wide receiver from the University of Michigan than Anthony Carter.
Yeah,
and my dad was wrong.
That was everybody.
He's
like,
not
I
often
appreciate
wrong,
that.
but he was wrong there.
My dad played with AC, so like for me, it was always like
your Jim Brown.
I waited to like Barry. I was waiting. It's like how Barry's dad was with Walter Payton.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's how my dad was, and I had to wait to ask that question. Like I never asked, because I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just let Dad tell me. And eventually, we had a conversation. This was maybe.
What did he say?
Maybe
Are you going to share that, or is that for another day?
After the break.
After the break.
All right.
I'll answer it after the break. We'll get a message from Thrive, actually. It's that time.
Absolutely. I got you, B. Put down that freaking afternoon coffee and get up on Thrive Energy pouches. Check it out, though, A-Dub. It ain't your daddy's dip, though. It's tobacco-free, nicotine-free, mental powerhouse of smart caffeine. No jitters. You will never experience a sugar crash. Thrive can be found online at dipstop.com. Remember to use that promo code WSN for 15% off your entire order. Found exclusively at all Market Fresh and Market Square locations. Thrive Clean Energy. They flip and work, y'all.
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking. And the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports. It's bear hunting season, and Dan Campbell is hungry for some kneecaps.
If you can just get a hold of them and you start dragging their ass out to the deep, dark abyss, you can drown them.
The Kings of the North are back for another year of the brand new Lions. Make sure you're locked in to Detroit's #1 sports network for all the news and info on your Detroit Lions.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Hunting season is almost here, Detroit, and your Lions are on the prowl. Make sure you're locked into Woodward Sports for all the Dan Campbell reactions, Jared Goff touchdowns, Amon-Ra first downs, Penny pancakes, Kirby picks, Gibbs big plays, and of course, Jack Fox's leg. Stay locked in on all your Lions coverage right here on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
I need to go back to Loom this week. I need to re-up, and when I do, I'm going to save 30% off. Thank you, Woodward Sports. You see the QR code above my head. You see the code there, WSN30. Head to one of their 40 locations in the state of Michigan or to their website, loom.com, and mention that WSN30, and you're going to get 30% off your order. And if it's your first time there, they are going to hook you up. In fact, they're going to do that your first 3 visits. I do love me some Loom. It is not a lie. Everyone knows it. You should too. You will too, as soon as you check them out at loom.com. And it's home buying season. Our friends Chris and Chad over at Supreme Lending, they are waiting to hear from you. They want to start you in the process, whether it's a new home you're buying, whether you're upgrading, or whether you're just looking to refinance. Make the call early so they can walk you through the process and get you in the best standing possible. By the time you close, could get you a better interest rate, maybe that 0% down payment program. But as long as you mention us, Woodward Sports, sending you over there, we're going to save you up to $500 off of your home appraisal. So give them a call. They are Supreme Lending.
And we are back to, we still got about 17 minutes left in the show. I see Double D in the building. Shout out to my boy Kool-Aid.
Back to reality.
It is back to reality, man. Back to reality. This has been a fun conversation. Generational. Who's better than Dan? I like that.
It's a fun name in there.
Could have asked some more generational comments, the Dan Campbell stuff. Just to put it back in perspective, I guess, for the Mike Vrabel and Dan Campbell situation. Dan Campbell started off 13-3-1, 9-8. 12-5, 15-2, and then last year was 9-8. Vrabel was 9-7, 9-7, 11-5, 12-5, 7-10. Took a year off, and then 14-3. So similar.
You got excited over the Cam Newton.
I did. Cam's best quarterback in college football to me. I played against Vince Young. Unfortunately, his coming out party was against us. That Rose Bowl where Texas beat Michigan. I saw it. I watched it.
Lots of confetti.
Couldn't believe that, I couldn't believe we went spy on first and second down and went all-out blitz on third down every single time in that game, which led to his 197 rushing yards. But I digress. He was elite. I mean, the stuff you saw, Lamar Jackson do. If somebody told me Tim Tebow, I wouldn't have a problem at all with that. If we're talking about the collegiate level, Tim was – Tebow was Tebow.
And if we're talking about
what Cam did,
the Serbian junior level, Mike Grama is correct. Darko was generational there.
Yeah, facts.
Man, do you remember that summer how excited this city was?
Oh, yeah.
We're going to get the guy from Serbia, from Vojvodina, Novi Sad. No, he wasn't very good.
I don't know, man. Maybe it was me. Maybe I was being I was excited about the Pistons pick because it was like you couldn't miss.
That's what it felt like.
It was like you couldn't miss. It was, at worst, you had Chris Bosh out of Texas and what he was. Or you get Dwayne Wade, and we all watched that Final Four run of Marquette, and we watched how good he was. And he was the older player. He was the adult, if you will. He was the guy that was going to come on, not take long. And then we all watched Syracuse and what they did in 2002. We watched that run. We watched that championship. We watched what Carmelo was. And then LeBron. For a long time, you didn't know if it was going to be Carmelo or LeBron. I think the magazine ESPN came out and kind of said King James. You knew it was LeBron. But there was you are not going to miss in spot 2 with 4. Now, you got 4 players that you could put in your team right now and just be very excited about. And you're a team that was doing something. You're on your way. And it shows the one. I get it. I get why, but damn. Yeah, that was tough.
Well, Dante is asking and bringing up some stuff that we had for the final segment that I wasn't even sure if we were going to get to. Do we save it or do you want to talk Pistons?
We got 14 minutes. I just seen Kool-Aid running around here somewhere, so I mean, I guess that's like an omen to talk basketball. Sure, go ahead.
Okay, well, when he comes back, let's go into Pistons. You want to do it now?
We go now.
Okay. So there's a lot of information on Jalen Duren this morning. I don't know how much of it is smoke. There's certainly some fire somewhere. And it sounds like the Pistons are not interested in a sign-and-trade deal for this man whatsoever. So your hopes of Domantas Sabonis or anybody else at this point, it's not happening. And I love that. Getting a center that plays to the tune of a third-team All-Pro. I know he disappeared in the playoffs, but at 22 years old, you don't get that, and you certainly don't throw it away. And the Pistons aren't going to do that. I love hearing that. However, there is some news that is scaring the hell out of me, Braylon. And Trajan is playing his best hand so far, but it looks like Jalen Duren has one hand left to play, and that would be playing on the $9.6 million tender that the Pistons did offer him as a protected restricted free agent, which means he could play out this 1 year and then become Tarik Skubal 2 next year.
I'm fine with it.
You are?
I'm fine. He ain't Tarik Skubal. And realistically, look, I appreciate what Jalen Duren has done. I like him a lot. I appreciate him as a player. But look, we saw in the playoffs, and I get it that he's young. He's been here. This is year 4, or this is year 5.
Duren?
Yeah.
This would be year 4, correct?
Yeah, this is coming up on year 4. Like 9.6 sounds fair. If you want to take your chances, if you want to roll the dice and see what you can make down the line, bet on yourself, see if you can get to the trade deadline, et cetera, then by all means. Like, he's not a player that I'm clamoring for, and I understand that it's tough to get big men like that, especially that come off your farm system. But I'm not pressed for Jalen Duren.
I love this kid.
I'm just really not.
But I'm being pressed to love him even less and less. No pause.
Yeah.
This guy, if you want to be part of the Detroit Pistons, in fact, if you want to be part of any Detroit sports ball club, Dylan Larkin, you got to want to be here. Otherwise, the fan base will turn on you quick as hell. And then what are we talking about? Are we talking about January, February just being filled with Jalen Duren trade talk because he's on an expiring $9.6 million deal?
I'm at this point, man. You can chime in, Jay, or Sweet Potato Cam. If the chat hated me for the Dan Campbell comments, then buckle up. Realistically, like, I saw what I saw in the playoffs. Like, it's not like you saw that in Jalen Duren year 1, or this is year 2. This is year 3.
Mm-hmm.
Going in year 4, like, you are who you are. Like, what affects you is going to affect you. Whatever mind games are going to affect you. In year 3 and you're going through that, like, that's not going to change. Maybe it gets slightly better, but I don't think it gets better to the tune of you being able to reshape your personality. Not personality, wrong choice of words. You being able to reshape your stuff, the things that are inside you, the things that make you who you are. It's tough. So Angel Reese and Wendell Bryant, either that situation or any other things in that playoff, I didn't like what I saw. So you're going on to year 4, just like you asked me the question, answering. You're right. Talking about year 6, like, you got to start to know who people are. You kind of start to understand how they are made up. And this Jalen Duren situation, I'm like,
this is surprising.
I'm not pressed.
This isn't who I thought he was and how he fit into this team. You hear the stories about him and Cade spending last summer together and just being all deep in this team being their core and their future for the rest of their 20s. I thought that's what we were getting. That's what they've made it out to be. That's what it looked like. You see a guy fail like that in the playoffs, and you'd think that he'd come back a little more humble and ready to work, and he's just worried about cash. And I'm not trying to tell anybody out there to not go and get your money, but read the room. This ain't LA. This ain't New York. This is Detroit. A team that's a franchise that's been starved for 20 years, a city that's been starved for 25 years of good basketball, or 20 at least. But this guy has an opportunity to figure out some sort of a settlement with the team where you also have incentives laden throughout your contract. And then you go out and you get them. This one, to me, this is scary as hell, man, because this is your core. This is what Trajan and your ownership and everybody else has told the city. It's about these 3. We're going to build around them, and we saw that this offseason by them not making that big splash. I think they still need to do that, but you also got to take care of your core. So Trajan, don't let this one spiral too long.
I think a lot of times too, like with these, in sport period, when the agent gets involved, you can kind of see who's working the room, who's working the situation. Sometimes you have players that are poised enough, grown enough, adult enough, still know how to work hard. Like you see all the comments that were made by Tarik Skubal agent this offseason, or all the little goofy stuff that he was doing, all the little limericks or whatever the hell you want to call those rap songs he was doing, like all that stuff. But then look at when you see Tarik Skubal. You saw a guy that was ready. You saw a guy that was professional. You saw a guy that put in the work. You saw a guy that still put you with the best of them. And you look at what you saw this past weekend coming off injury. So, like, that guy can do that. Sometimes you get guys, have agents speak for them. They're not putting in that work. They're getting excited with the money process. So I hope that's not Jalen Duren.
Yeah, I mean, it's a legitimate concern at this point because you kind of started to feel good about everything. You feel like Trajan made all the right moves and leveraged the situation perfectly because you watched all the West Coast teams basically, they bowed out and they made a different signing. They bring in Walker Kessler or whoever it was. This is the last thing that you want to see from a team that's come up so quickly with such a young core that seemed like they were so together. This isn't just going to affect him and the fan base. This affects all 14 other guys with the Pistons, looking at a guy that's supposed to be their leader. And I know that those guys are a lot more easygoing with each other because they're all trying to get their bag while still trying to get some hardware too. But this, I don't love the optics of this at all. I mean, he's going to make his money, whether it's here or somewhere else. I just don't like the way this thing's starting to get out of control.
Yeah, speaking of optics, man, I got to apologize, man. I got to come up here and apologize. I am absolutely sorry that last week or 2 weeks ago that I fixed my mouth to say that I wanted Mbappe and France to win. How dare I ever want France to win anything? Sometimes, Anson, sometimes you get far removed from situations. Sometimes you don't think straight. You think about in that moment. Man, I went back and, speaking of documentaries, there's a new documentary out, and it's about 2010 and the bus situation and the World Cup situation that was France. Oh, my God.
Yeah, you and Justin love those French.
No, I never liked the French like that. I just like Mbappe.
Not like Justin loves them.
But man, when you go back and watch that special, you see what was their coach, Roman Denovich or whatever. Like, remember he?
I'm not getting rage baited by you.
Come on, stick up for the French.
But that was back in the Zidane.
Yeah, it was after. It was the one in 2010 where they sent Anelka home. Remember, he sent Anelka home, and then they had to play without him, and then like the players didn't want to play for him, so they like canceled practice and got on the bus, and then he stole the keys and wouldn't let them go to their room. Oh, it was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. It's on Netflix now.
I'll have to dig that.
I'm gonna tell you like that anyway. But shout out, my apologies.
It's okay.
The hell with the free.
We're running out of time here. We gotta talk about some stuff real quick. Why don't you talk real quick about that? And then we're going to come back, and we got to talk Paul versus Brady.
I smell money.
Oh, yeah.
Whenever either one of them is involved, it's money. Together, that's like the and Netflix
and man. Dante giving us some insider info.
That's like the bag of all bags. We'll take a quick commercial break and come back. Let's get a little bit on amnesia, my guy.
Let me tell you about amnesia.
There it is.
Just had to mute the mic
there
for
it. Is. Slow draw.
Ooh, that's a big tongue.
There we go. All right, fellas. You know what it is. 2 flavors, 1 device, 3 ways to enjoy it. We got the sativa, the hybrid, and the indica settings. Right now, I currently have Tropicana cookies. That is my sativa of choice. They also have gray glass tip joints as well. That no canoe, just pure clean smoke. They got them in a boatloads of different flavors. My favorite is the strawberry daiquiri. So make sure you check out Amnesia today because, hey, you see me smoking it. It's good stuff. And let me also tell you about Gold Crown. Gold Crown Royal Jesters, 1.5 total grams, coated in keef, live resin infused, and Gold Crown's a staple. They've been in the game for as long as I've been smoking weed. So as soon as I turned 18 and got a med card. So Gold Crown extracts at every dispensary of all time, even Loom. So make sure you tap in with them today. But now, back to the desk.
Back to the desk. Tom Brady and Jake Paul, man, what you got for me? Because I know you've been chomping at the bit to get this conversation off.
Well, and then Dante basically doubled down, and he said, where is this one? I'll find it. But you got the clip of them at Fanatics Fest this weekend?
Everybody was there.
Yeah, they were. I thought you were going to play it.
Yeah,
Tom Brady is.
He's in this clip though, right?
Yeah, Brady comes up next.
Weak sauce.
Now, but that's a professional fighter in the flyweight.
There we go. Yeah,
no,
there we go.
That's Justin Bieber. That's not a.
Oh, that was Bieber.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. There we. That's.
Sorry. He's in the UFC ring. That's Bieber.
Who was that? That was a tennis player? That was Djokovic?
That's Djokovic, yeah.
That's what I said, Djokovic? That makes sense.
That's WWE. That's Cody Rhodes.
That's Cody. The American Nightmare.
Ooh, only that's topped out in the 650s. Well, Dante 151. We've got another one of them facing off to each other, both at a game, and then Fanatics Fest.
Nice to Cody Rhodes.
They're talking. Logan Paul. Tom Brady delivers the blow. A very WWF.
Carl Anthony Towns breaking it up.
Carl Anthony Towns with a very nice choke slam over the weekend as well. Did you see that?
No.
So, Dante 151
I'm
breaking
not paying
the story.
attention to anything physical that Carl Anthony Towns.
I got to be honest with you. I'm the first
Oh, my
one.
God.
There it is. They're getting it going. You smell the money, Bray?
So what? All right. So Logan Paul. I'm trying to think. So what's coming up on the calendar in WWE? SummerSlam hasn't passed yet. SummerSlam is probably coming up. So I think this is them trying to stoke Brady to get an appearance at SummerSlam. Tom Brady comes to SummerSlam and definitely boosts WWE ratings. Everything is about ratings. Logan Paul is, he's. I'm not gonna hate for somebody to just pick this up the last couple of years. Like he's alright.
Man, those guys are kings in fights,
he's a hell of an
influencing,
athlete,
and in cards, big time in cards. But
I will say, whether you like him or hate him, because there's a lot that I do not like about him. I don't hate anybody, but there's a lot I don't like about him. I will say this: whatever they put their energy towards, they be going balls to the wall. Like, and you can at least appreciate people going balls to the wall and taking things serious. So I give him that credit. Like Logan, he be in shape for them WWE matches and the pay-per-views, and then Jake, same thing with him. Like, I don't like him, but he works hard.
Yeah, they do work. Braylon, have you watched their docu-series on
Yeah.
HBO? Yeah, that stuff is good.
I didn't know they grew up around there. So I lived in Avon Lake when I was in Ohio when I played for the Browns. Like, they're in Avon. They're like right in the same area. I mean, they were much younger, so of course I wouldn't know. But yeah, they're not too far from where I lived when I played for the Browns. So yeah, hey, look, I am one. I can always disassociate things. Hey, look, compartmentalize what I may not like. What I do like, them jokers be working hard. Logan Paul he's a freakish athlete.
Mm-hmm.
Like, jump off the ropes and do frog splashes like Eddie Guerrero and like Rob Van Dam. Like, kudos. You get my respect.
Those guys, when you look at them when they're first starting out online influencing, you didn't think they were going to turn into what they turned into.
Hey, man, kudos. It's not about what you know. It's about who you know.
Well, look at me started on that rabbit hole. You got it right there.
I said that one up.
And Mr. Beast, don't forget.
I said that one up.
Ancestors, guys.
Yeah, 1,000%, man. Look, tomorrow. Where should we go tomorrow? Let's talk this out now before we end the show. Where should we go now? What's the?
I'll have a little college football something tomorrow. Okay. I just did, it was a travel day for the kids, so I didn't have time to prepare. But I'll prepare something that Cam can read or Anson can read for me and you, Bray.
Let's have some fun tomorrow, man. Yeah, I want to dial into some stuff, man. I think I'm gonna grab some good stuff on the Lions as well too. And some Tigers. I think it'd be fun to talk Tigers.
Top 5 all-time captains in Detroit sports history, maybe?
Ooh. I see what you did there, considering everything that's going on with the Detroit Red Wings.
Maybe sometime this week. But the chat's got their list. Because everyone has lists.
Dylan Larkin's on the list, right? Dylan Larkin's now top 5 captains?
Wow.
He's not on... What? Dylan Larkin's not top 5 captain?
We don't know. Is he a captain or not?
Yo, look, man, we appreciate you guys for engaging with us, man, on this Monday. Appreciate you guys, man. Thanks for tuning in, man. Tomorrow we will come back and we will be revamped and we will have the show ready and to rock and roll. Enjoy the night. Enjoy the weather out there. Weather quality is a lot better, man. So appreciate that. For Anson, Sweet Potato Cam Gordo, as well as my right hand, Justin Satawa, we are the Braylon Edwards Show, and we will see you tomorrow.
Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports.